The first question to you is like, tell us about your childhood. How you
Oh,
perceived education then? What was the support from the family? And did you feel
mm,
these gaps in imparting quality education since then?
mm, right. So as I was a child, it's very common thing for me. It was very really common thing for me.
Hmm.
Doing so many things at class.
Hmm.
It was not like a good or scholar boy.
Hmm.
My brother was supposed to be the, very clever boy,
Hmm.
and he actually ranked first in 10th and 12th exams, board exams. So he
Hmm.
was like a gem, but I
Hmm.
was completely different. Really, actually, my intention was more about computers from since childhood. I
Okay.
was not from the traditional way of learning or sitting in the classrooms and
Hmm.
just listening to the boring lectures. So
Hmm.
I was so many times kicked off out of the schools by my uh, lady teachers, and
Hmm.
she completely always complaining about me
Hmm.
that Ranjit is not performing well, not behaving well in the classroom. So childhood was like that.
Okay,
But
that's
more,
interesting. Hmm.
but what are the biggest takeaways from that? I could meet the Dr. Vijay Bhatkar, the
Hmm.
supercomputer man, India's
Hmm.
first, and he was invited as a chief guest of our school's annual function.
Hmm.
And that time I had designed a egg-shaped computer screen.
Hmm.
That was my model. And when he saw that, he appreciated me and he told me, Ranjit, you should patent this design
Hmm.
for your better future.
Hmm.
And that was the moment it really inspired me to work in the computers field and to work for the society.
Hmm.
This is the only thing that I still remember in the childhood.
Hmm.
Others things I'm not remembering this. But I think my childhood or the teachers, even though they were complaining about me and punishing me every time,
Hmm.
but I think they were thinking for the betterment of mine.
Hmm.
Right, so they might be because they knew my younger brother is really doing good and he's very
Hmm.
clever.
Hmm.
So I was really like on an average guy,
Hmm.
not performing that much like as he. So they were might be concerning about myself, but I was really enjoying the days. Even I opted computer science in fifth grade because it
Hmm.
was an optional subject and we have to pay extra fee for that.
Hmm.
But I, continuously pushing my parents to pay the fees. I like to learn that computer. At that time, it was a really new thing.
Hmm.
Even I think Windows 95 or yes, maybe 95 or the DOS version was there.
Hmm.
But still, I was really more interested in it to learn something in the field of computer science.
And that's very visible with the initiatives you have taken later in your career.
Hmm. Yes.
Uh, yeah, so usually there's a perception that after getting a government job, like
Hmm.
it is the end of the road. There's a stagnancy which presumably which comes to it. Like as a government servant, I am also judged for being a government servant.
Hmm.
I know that is generally not the case for the people who really want to do something for the society.
Hmm.
But
Right.
and it is very visible that in your case, the journey began with it. So tell us about how it started. How did you think of being a government servant, a government teacher, and then this road towards the transformation of the education system in
Yeah.
the way you have started?
You can yes, you're absolutely right. When you get a job and especially government job, it
Hmm.
means your life is now settled. You don't need to worry about the salary and the any other things. It's
Hmm.
it's now well secured.
Right.
But the teacher's job every day, you're working with the humans.
Hmm.
And those humans, those are the futuristic citizens of the country, and they are actually very innovative and energetic guys, students always. So
Hmm.
you cannot be very cool and shy or reserved type with them. Teachers always should be very ready and energetic to interact with the students. So my job when I was started in 2009,
Hmm.
5th of January, I started working in this Paritiwadi school.
Hmm.
So the day one, it was like still shocking because my classroom was converted in a cow shed.
Okay.
and the buffaloes and goats and cows were there. And this was really shocking for me, and I never imagined that in India
Hmm.
there are such classrooms that has been using as a cattle shed. So when I get back and go back to my school, home, and I was really worried about the situation of the schools and indifference of the parents towards education. So I couldn't digest that fact
Hmm.
because how parents are living in this world and having the classroom like Cattle said.
Right.
So, but those 6 months, because I took 6 months to get back my classroom.
Hmm.
But that guy who actually captured my classroom
Hmm.
was really hesitating and was a powerful politician. So
Hmm.
he don't want to
Hmm.
give it easily to me. So I have to fight with him, and so many things happen.
Right.
But ultimately, I get it back. So in those 6 months, what I realized that the if the parents could believe in education, if I
Hmm.
could get them the trust that education is the only way to
Right.
change your status or to find out the solutions, anything.
Hmm.
So they might change their mindsets.
Right.
And I surveyed the entire village, get the data about the population, their economical status, their
Hmm.
educational status, everything that I needed. I surveyed it, get the data, analyzed it, and I realized that the girls or maybe the women in the village
Hmm.
are more educated as compared to the males.
Hmm.
So this was a really interesting thing for me. The data was showing something different.
Right.
So I more focused on women's empowerment and their participation in the education or the school
Hmm.
education. And that's why I started a community engagement program
Hmm.
with the parents. I shifted from my home to the Paritewadi.
Hmm.
I took a room, rented it, and started to living there.
Hmm.
And I started to interact, to participate in their cultural programs, had a meeting, dinner with them, everything, whatever I did. So this was just interaction, informal interaction.
Hmm.
It's not like why are you not sending your daughters and boys in the classroom? It's not like that. Just to give them how education can change their life.
Right.
What are the opportunities if you are educated? What the world you might see
Hmm.
through the windows of the opportunity. So that really helped me. They
Right.
started believing this man is trying to do something different.
Hmm.
And second thing that I did to increase the attendance of students in the classrooms
Hmm.
because marginally 2 or 3% students were attending the classrooms.
Hmm.
The rest of them were just sitting at home and others were lending the helping hands to the parents at the farm. So I started field visit and everyone who is absent, I just go back to their home, taking them back to the school every day.
Okay.
This was my job for at least 6 or 7 months.
Hmm.
The half time of my school was just getting them into the classroom. That was. Then after a year-long time, I was thinking to change something in the classroom so that the classroom becomes very interesting part for them or the funny part or enjoying part.
Hmm.
First, I asked my father to buy a laptop
Hmm.
for me because at that time my salary was merely about 3,000 rupees per month. It was not my cup of tea to purchase it.
Hmm.
So I asked my father to give me that laptop and I could use it for the students. So he gave me, and then that really changed the environment in our classroom.
Hmm.
So we were just enjoying
Hmm.
watching the movies, singing songs, and everything that they wanted to watch. I asked them, "What do you want to see on the computer
Hmm.
or on my laptop?" They say, "Sir, we want this movie or this
Yeah.
song, this one like this."
Hmm.
So when they get back to home, they start to discuss with their colleagues and friends.
Hmm.
Today we have watched this movie, tomorrow we will be watching this one like this.
Hmm.
So this is catching the attention of others, those who are actually working in the farms and lending the hands.
Right.
So they started, oh, school is something different. There we can watch the movies
Hmm.
and we can enjoy this.
Hmm.
So it was like just entertainment part, not focusing on education and other things.
Hmm.
Let them just enjoy, let them
Yeah.
get back in the class, and then gradually they started coming and attendance increasing day by day.
Hmm.
Then I started edu entertainment turning into the education. It's like
Hmm.
edutainment.
Hmm.
How they can learn with enjoying with the games and other things.
Hmm.
So we started some making some small videos,
Hmm.
PowerPoint presentation, the
Yeah.
YouTube videos translating in the Marathi and
Hmm.
taking giving some voiceover to them.
Hmm.
So these were the initial steps that I started to change the educational status or the system in the respective
Hmm.
school or the village.
Okay, so that's an incredible story. The way you have transformed the village scenario in terms of education.
Hmm.
I'm sure there are many other teachers in the world who are trying to bring out such a change in the society within
Mm.
their own limitations.
Right.
Uh, and we all have heard how you have decided to share the prize money with the other contestants. Do you have any plan to engage with teachers worldwide in a way to bring this transformation at the grassroots, sharing the best practices, and maybe taking this journey forward?
Yes. So that's why I decided to collaborate and just share that prize money with them. The
Right.
intention is that the prize money they will be getting, they could continue their innovative practices and other things.
Hmm.
And another thing is that I could get a chance to look after them and to interact with these kids. And if they have some innovative ideas that I
Mhm.
can take back into my classrooms as well. So
Right.
it's like a, collective efforts
Mhm.
to grow together.
Right.
So already we have already a network of such teachers at international level, but
Hmm.
now I'm more thinking about having mutual interactions and collaboration in between them. So the project of my one of my project, Let's Cross the Borders,
Hmm.
where we interact with Indian students and Pakistani students and
Hmm.
Iraq and
Hmm.
Iran in Palestine. So that will really help me to grow as a teacher as well and as a human as well.
Right.
And ultimately, it will help my students to broaden their horizon, not
Hmm.
just thinking about limited about our country or about our city.
Mhm.
It will really change, or like ultimately, we are global citizens. So
Hmm.
if you want to make to be a global citizen, just experience it first. What
Hmm.
exactly students in the other class, other countries are thinking, how they are thinking like this. So
Right.
I think that collaboration will really help me and ultimately education sector as well.
Mhm. Right. So, introducing the QR codes in textbooks, it was such a basic idea, but like it
Yes.
turned out to be such a big game changer. So,
Mhm.
how did you go about it, and how actually it reached the levels of NCRT that they actually formulated into a policy into the textbooks?
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, the initiative, as I told you, the computer-based,
Hmm.
laptop-based, I was engaging them.
Hmm.
So what I was doing at the end of every week, whatever I created the digital content,
Hmm.
I just transfer it through the memory card.
Okay.
So students bring their mobile phones. I will just transfer their data from my laptop to their
Hmm.
mobile phones.
Hmm.
So we were facing some problems like sometimes files get corrupted, sometimes the file was not supported by their respective handsets.
Hmm.
So I was just trying to find out the solution. What could we do?
Hmm.
Because ultimately my aim was that because there were some students still they were not coming to schools.
Hmm.
They were living far away from the schools, and I couldn't reach out to them every day. So, how these students can access the education,
Hmm.
whatever they are getting, their colleagues are getting in the classroom.
Yeah.
So, I was working on that line, how education can be reached can we can give them access even though they are sitting at home.
Hmm.
So only way was the textbook. But
Right.
reading a textbook will not help them because ultimately they need someone to explain the concept in a
Hmm.
better way.
Hmm.
So what I was doing, I was just recording the videos in my classrooms.
Hmm.
Whatever I'm teaching, I was just recording it. And the videos being uploaded on a drive and just sharing the link of the respective video in the
Hmm.
QR code.
Hmm.
But when I was just went in the shop, that shopkeeper actually scanned the QR code on the product,
Yeah.
and that really sparked that what is exactly happened.
Hmm.
He just put that scanner on the product, and
Hmm.
the price was displayed on the machine.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, how this happened?
Yeah.
So when I get back at home, started Googling what is this. At that time, I really don't know what the QR code is. Because
Hmm.
I even I don't know we call it as a QR code.
Hmm.
So what I did, I searched it through the image because
Hmm.
I don't know how to search and what to search.
Hmm.
So I searched that image first. What is it called?
Yeah.
Then I realized this is the QR code.
Yeah.
Then I started how to make QR codes, how we can embed the data in it.
Hmm.
And then I realized this we can do this.
Yeah.
And then I started. Firstly, I created 27 QR codes
Hmm.
for my students, grade 4 students,
Hmm.
and all the content being embedded in the QR codes. And there were some instructions for the parents. When
Hmm.
they scan a QR code, so first they will get the instructions, set of instructions, and then when they click on the next button,
Hmm.
then the digital content will appear on the respective mobile devices like this.
Hmm.
So this idea will work for a year,
Hmm.
and then considering the results, analyze the improvement in their learning outcomes. Then I proposed my state government because ultimately they used to print the books.
Right.
How I can print the books to every student.
Hmm.
So I proposed them that this is a good idea. I started already working on it and
Hmm.
I get an excellent result. Why don't you start to print the QR codes in the textbook?
Hmm.
So then they decided to have the piloting, and at that time, I think they printed the QR codes in this grade 6 book.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay. So after considering the results and analyzing the data, then the government of Maharashtra decided that we will be printing QR codes in each and every textbook printed by the government of Maharashtra.
Yeah.
And then later on, government of Maharashtra has proposed NCRT that we came up with this excellent idea,
Hmm.
and we have got really excellent results. So it will be beneficial for NCRT as well because at the
Hmm.
time Mr. Prakash Javadekar was the HRD minister
Hmm.
and he belongs to Maharashtra.
Right.
So he has good connection with Maharashtra education minister as well. So that mutual understanding really helped us to reach out the NCRT and propose it. And then later on, NCRT decided to print the QR codes in their respective textbooks as well.
That's great. And do you wish to share some other innovations or techniques which may help the educators like you in the other parts of the country, especially in the year of pandemic? Like, what are the challenges you see with the underprivileged children getting the much required equity and equality?
Yes, problems or the we can talk about access to the quality education
Right.
in this paradigm.
Right.
If you have the mobile devices, then you have the access.
Hmm.
If you don't have, it means you're out of the schools, even
Hmm.
you are out of that flow of the first thing I think still in remote area
Hmm.
of the country, we're still lagging to have the access of technology.
Hmm.
Later on, we can talk about the internet and other things, but
Hmm.
access to the technology is really missing in the various part of the country. This is the one thing. That is why the equity in the education is missing right now.
Hmm.
Second thing is that availability of what is adequate and well curated content, digital
Hmm.
content, where I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But it is because still now we are in the progress of transformation from one face to face to digital transformation. So still that digital content, access to the digital content, and that impact is still missing. The content right now is like in the initial phase of making.
Hmm.
So there we need to focus more on the content and pedagogical aspect of digital learning, because how we can assume that students have watched the video and he understood the concept. There
Right.
is no mechanism.
Hmm.
So we need to make sure that even sitting at home, students how they are learning and what exactly they are learning. So that mechanism is still missing, I think,
Hmm.
to have that equity in
Hmm.
education.
Right. And even the children who are there with the full furnished, full-fledged technology at home,
Mm.
they are also, in a way, in this age of pandemic, they are not having that two-way communication in terms of the classes, the online classes
Right.
which they are having. So I
Yes,
hope
yes,
that,
but
yeah, yeah.
yes, you have raised a good question, but
Hmm.
teachers are not trained for that,
Right, right.
because the teachers were trained for the face-to-face teaching.
Hmm, hmm,
And
hmm.
ultimately, this pandemic had forced them to shift from face to face to online teaching.
Right.
And they are teaching the way they taught in the face to face teaching.
Hmm,
And
hmm,
that's
hmm.
why students are missing that part.
Hmm,
Ultimately, online teaching is completely different
hmm,
than the face to face teaching.
hmm.
I have been running my online classes since 2016.
Right.
So I know how to engage students virtually
Hmm,
in the period of 30 minutes.
hmm.
But not for the other teachers. They don't know how to engage them. They
Right.
started, they start the camera, they write on the blackboard and
Hmm,
translate or try to explain it.
hmm.
But students couldn't, find themselves in that class, in the virtual class.
Hmm.
So I'm not blaming the teachers because they were not trained for that.
Right, and they're
Uh,
trying their best to, impart education in whatever means they have at this
yes,
moment. Yeah.
right. But this
Hmm.
is the opportunity for the policymakers to
Hmm.
think on that line as well. If this type of things happen over the maybe after 20, 30 years,
Hmm.
same pandemic will happen. If
Hmm.
so, for that our response should not be the same.
Yeah.
Our response should be different. So we
Hmm.
need to empower teachers for that as well, so that they could actually flip from face to face to online teaching
Right.
in a much easy way.
Yeah. Coming to the policies, the policy change you have discussed, how do you see the new education policy? Like, it has a focus on the regional language
Yes, yes,
education.
yes, right,
So,
right.
how can things be different for the children, say, 10 years down the line?
No, no. I think this new education policy is actually going to be the game-changing
Hmm.
policy in the educational system of India,
Hmm.
because so many years will pass on, and still we are lacking the new era.
Hmm.
I think this education policy more focusing on student-centric approaches
Right.
in the pedagogical, in the curriculum as well, and at the same time is talk about teachers approach towards the students, because students are already of 21st century. They are 21st century students, but
Hmm.
teachers are of 20th century.
Hmm.
Their training, their curriculum, their techniques are of the past of the centuries. So this education policy, I think, will really change the uh, pace of education.
Hmm.
I'm more talking about teachers' empowerment part as of that as well,
Hmm.
because it has really some features like continuous professional development program
Hmm.
will be there for the teachers, and that will really help teachers like me to get new techniques, to adequate knowledge, and acquire new knowledge as well.
Hmm.
So this will really help us to have access of education and quality education.
Okay. So you have worked extensively for the education of the girl child,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have seen the initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao on
Mm-hmm.
ground. So
Mm-hmm.
what are your experiences on the same? How are they taken, and how can they be taken to the next level now?
No, no, no. These initiatives are actually operated by the government.
Yeah.
So they have their own prototype, and
Hmm.
they have their rigid structure. So
Hmm.
they're never they get flexible or
Hmm.
we need to. So these type of initiatives
Yeah.
should be should be taken or taken from the grassroots levels.
Hmm.
When you say that Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao,
Hmm.
so it's like three or four terms achievement target for the government,
Hmm.
and the government persons try to achieve it. That's it. But
Yeah.
ultimately, achieving a target, it doesn't mean changing the lives of the girls.
Hmm.
Okay. When
Hmm.
I was working with the girls and their parents, my
Hmm.
target was not like to have the 100% attendance.
Hmm.
My target was just get them back to the school.
Hmm.
Ultimately or gradually, I could attain get that target. But when you focus more on outcomes, then you ultimately achieve your targets.
Hmm.
But when the initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, your goal is to achieve the target,
Yeah.
not the outcomes.
Hmm.
So this is the difference between
Hmm. Hmm.
my perspective and the policy or the government. They more focus on the statistical parts
Yeah.
or the outcomes, sorry, target parts.
Hmm.
I more focus on the outcomes part.
Hmm.
And I ultimately, I don't want ki every girl is now empowered and everybody is getting the jobs. No, this is not my target. I
Hmm.
just want them just to have the confidence, self-esteem, and they
Hmm.
could actually become the innovative problem solvers to change their own status in the society. That's it.
As you would know, publications division, it has journals and newspapers, including Yojana, Kurukshetra, Bal Bharati, and Employment News. And they're
Hmm.
published in 13 languages and they are fondly read by youth and children alike.
Hmm.
So, what would be your message to them, to the children and the youth?
I think children should listen to their voice only.
Hmm.
They should not get bothered by the parents and the peer pressures and other things.
Yeah.
Just listen to your own interest area. Just listen your voice, what you like to do. Just be and stick to it,
Hmm.
and do your best in your own area of interest.
Yeah.
Uh, I have seen these type of things happen in India. Parents wanted their child to become a scientist. Parents wanted to become their child to become an engineer and IAS officer, but nobody is listening to the child's voice. Because ultimately, in my class, students' voice is important. So I think students and youth should listen to their internal voice, and whatever they wanted to do, just do the best so that world needs you.
Thank you so much, Disliji, for
Yeah.
giving us this time and hope you get well soon.
Yeah.
And we are really looking forward to your initiatives, which might change the face of education in years to come. And